Hello and welcome. This is a very special full-time Devils takeover. Now the season has ended, so the podcast will be put to one side, and we're going to bring you a very special show now. It's going to be all about you. We want you to give us a call now and come and have your say. This is the Full-Time Devils phone-in show, where obviously you can have your say throughout every video on the Full-Time Devils, but we actually want to hear from you now. Come and join myself, backed by popular demand, Webby. Hello, Webby. Are you okay, Webby?
I am.
And Suff. We're going to be doing our phone-in show for the next half an hour. Make sure you give us a call. If you are giving us a call, we will get to you very, very soon. Keep on the phone lines. I should give you out the number, shouldn't I? 0345 111 7625. It is 0345 111 7625. The number is along the bottom of the screen. If you ever miss it, give us a call now. It's also in the description. We'd love to speak to you and make sure you have your say on Manchester United. Webby, Suff, thank you for joining us today. It'd be good to get the viewers' point of view on things, wouldn't we, Webby? A topsy-turvy season. So what we'd like to ask them is if you could rate the season, rate the manager out of 10, Jose Mourinho out of 10, and rate the squad out of 10. What do you give each individual element there? And then looking at the transfer window, it is open. Rumours galore. Fred is apparently agreed. What do you make of that? Also, if we're going to give you a little made-up shopping budget here, we're going to allow you a defender, a midfielder and a striker. Who you having in your squad? Let us know now. 0345 111 7625. Come and have your say. We'll start with you then, Webby. We'll move on from what was the FA Cup. Tell us about what you'd rate, first of all, Jose Mourinho out of 5.
Out of 5?
Out of 10, sorry. Out of 10.
6.5.
6.5 out of 10.
6.5 out of 10, Joe. Talking to us before, obviously, wasn't great last Saturday. Had enough chances to win the game second half. We were just poor. You know, we've got the players there to do the stuff, but we're not releasing the beast, and it's frustrating for fans. It must be frustrating for the players as well, why it's not happening. So 6.5 and...
Oh no! Someone's got through on the. Someone's. I don't know how that's worked. We should have been on line one. Is that Pushu?
Yeah, hi.
Hello, sorry, you just came through the entire speakers. It cut Webby off. We're just having a chat with Webby. We've got a lot of people on hold, so make sure if you're giving us a call, do that. We're going to start with yourself. What is your point that you want to make on the Full-Time Devils today? Talk to me about who you want to see come to Old Trafford in the summer.
All right. Now, first of all, I know everyone is negative. This season hasn't been the best season for us. But I think we have to be a bit optimistic and give Jose the support that we can. And more importantly, I think the board needs to back him up properly. I think we need about 5 or 6 proper signings, world-class signings, in most of the positions, left back, right back, 1 centre back, 2 midfielders, and probably a proper right winger as well. Just a moment. I need to say I'm a big fan of Full-Time Devils. Let me just mention that. Sorry. Pardon me for not mentioning that before.
No, it's all right. Thank you very much. They're starting off our calls today. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get through as many of your calls as possible. Let's go to Azar. Are you right, Azar?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Talk to us, mate, about Manchester United. Rate your season out of 10, if you would. The players, then Jose Mourinho.
Honestly, 6 out of 10 at most.
6 out of 10 at most? What, for both?
No, 6 out of 10 for Mourinho, and probably a 7 or 8 for the players, honestly. Because Mourinho, he's the most boring manager I've ever watched. And I'm a fairly young watcher. I've been watching for the whole of my life. I've never seen a more boring kind of football. And I've had to sit through Louis van Gaal. Honestly.
Hey, listen, son. You're glad you weren't around when Dave Stexton was in charge. You might have threw yourself in the canal with me.
Suff, have you found this season boring then? Azar has.
I think it's if you weigh everything up, it's definitely not been our vintage season. I think people would always point to the fact that, you know, we've got the best league finish since Fergie, and we've got the best goal difference since Fergie, and so many other bests since Fergie, but for the level of competition that we're up against, I just don't think we have been good enough. And I think the ratings that he's been given so far, 6 out of 10, I think, you know, it seems reasonable, yeah.
Yeah, so you were giving the players a higher mark there. So you're suggesting maybe, Azar, that Mourinho's sort of not making the most of the squad that he's got?
Oh yeah, definitely, because he's got the proven success with Inter and Porto. But in my opinion, I think he makes the more average teams almost world class and makes the world class teams more average, in a sense like what he did with Porto and Inter Milan. That makes sense. But a player like Paul Pogba, who was the team of the season, team of the year in Serie A, and now he's very average in my opinion for the price he pays.
Quickly then, for yourself, if I can give you a defender, who would you want to see come into Old Trafford this summer, Azar?
As a reasonable signing, probably Harry Maguire. I think he's at the back this season in the Premier League for Leicester.
Harry Maguire, Webby, what would you make of Harry Maguire if he came in?
Webby's a big fan, I heard.
No.
No.
He's Sheffield United did a good job. He's done a good job. But Leicester's his limit. He's got an England squad. Would I like him at Manchester United Football Club? No. There's a lot better around him. We'll get a lot better. But I can understand the kid's point of view. He's done all right for Leicester, but he's not for me. No, thank you.
This is your chance to have your say. 0345 177 Kyle is waiting on hold, but Richard, we're going to go to you first. Are you okay, Richard?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Richard, talk to us then about Manchester United. What do you want to say to the full-time...
Well.
Oh, Webby.
How are you, pal? You okay?
Big fan of Webby. Just want to say that before we get into
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What about me, man?
Yeah, what about Soph and Joe? Just chilling here. We'll go home, shall we?
About?
You and Webby, a bit of bromance.
Yeah, mate. Webby's a legend, yeah. But anyway, I want to talk about how happy I am with the possibility that we're signing Fred.
Yeah, talk to us about Fred then.
Yeah.
Excited?
I just think, I'm excited because, we've lacked that creativity in midfield, and I think adding someone with that Brazilian flair who also has the attacking threat but can adapt his defensive of his game.
I was actually
watching. That's what Herrera can't do.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but I was actually watching a video of Fred just before I came on, and I've got to say, he sort of reminds me of Anderson, and all the videos you see of Anderson before he came to United. You see you see a lot of promise, and then he came to United and he was just being played in this defensive role. But I think with the current setup, I think Fred would be a good fit, complementing Pogba and Matic, and maybe Pogba won't have to come from as deep as much, so I think he can run with the ball from deep and quite creative. So
obviously, Chris texted me before the show when he said, "Look up on Fred," and I started looking Fred Flintstone. I
thought you were going to say something about the weather.
People aren't happy with his name.
People aren't happy with the name Fred. Kyle, so your interesting point before, as I made, that the manager gets a low rating than the players. With the season being over now, how would you rate the manager out of 10 and the players out of 10? If two different categories.
I am fully Mourinho in, right? And no matter what, I want him to stay, because if he can't do it, who can? Do you know what I mean?
Has he done a good job for you as a United fan this season?
Well, yeah. Well, before he signed, he had this 3-year contract to build a team, and then he's going to focus on winning the league. So he's won. He's won the Europa League and the FA Cup last season. This season we finished second, which is a massive improvement from sixth. So there's progress there, and we just need to give him the time, because this isn't his full team yet. I always said that he needs 300-400 million quid to get the team he wants this season.
Oh, I think Richard might have gone. So we'll go from Richard to Kyle. How are you, Kyle?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm very well. Good to hear from you, Kyle. So a variety of things we're talking about today. Webby and Soph are with me. If you want to give us a call, by the way, 0345 177 here for another 20 minutes. So get your calls in now. We'd love to speak to you. Kyle, let's have a chat then about Manchester United. How would you rate your players, and how would you rate the manager this season?
It's a difficult one, really, because some of the players have had a very productive season, as in Jesse Lingard has popped up in big games when we've needed him. Yep. Lukaku, although Salah's got all the goals, Lukaku's all-round play as a striker has improved, his hold-up, his first touch, everything. So I'd give the players 7 out of 10, and I'd give Mourinho 6.
6. So things going on here, Webby. Sorry, Kyle, I'll get to you in a second. That the players are getting rated higher than the manager. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. Obviously, we were talking off air before. We were going over matches again where we should not be getting beat or drawn. You know, it's disappointing as fans going to the matches and getting beat at Huddersfield and not turning up against Seville. You know, they were there for the taking. And some players have stepped forward this year. You know, some have had a step back, but obviously the next season is absolutely massive for Manchester United Football Club. We need a great window before this World Cup, because you know what happens in a World Cup, Joe? A player has an half-decent World Cup and his price goes up 15 million, and then becomes and then he just falters. Look at the kid Rodriguez, who Madrid signed from Monaco, and he's now on loan at Bayern Munich. You know,
and he's not doing that good, is he?
He's not doing that good, so we've got to get it. Do you know what, Joe? A lot of people criticise David Gill, you know, for his debts are road to ruin with the Glazers, but he got his business done early. That's what we've got to do now. We would get it in early, get the players signed. They either go to the World Cup or go on holiday, and we have to start this season, next season, bang, because City will do.
Agree, stuff.
Are there though? I mean, even players out there that we can bring in, and I think that there are a lot of players, but would they want to then come to Man United for the positions that we need to fill? I think wide right needs to be addressed. Central midfield needs to be addressed. Fullbacks, I think Ashley Young and Valencia aren't fullbacks, so they obviously need to be upgraded. Luke Shaw, I think he's a ready-made left fullback. He just needs a bit of that love, and I really like the kid. And whenever he's played this season, I think he's done all right. Right back, who's out there that could fill the void. So I think there's a lot of shopping that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Is there enough time to get it done before the World Cup starts? Who knows?
Who knows? Kyle, can I ask you then? I asked before a defender. Can I get you to give a midfielder on your shopping list? Be realistic that you think you'd love to see at Old Trafford next season.
Be realistic. I'm going to say Milinkovic-Savic. I've seen a lot of him. I've watched Lazio a lot this season, and he's just what you want in a real modern day midfielder. He's got a bit of pace. He's got a good shot. He's got and a brilliant pass. I think he really is the real deal.
Keep an eye out for him, Kyle. Thank you very much for your call there. Make sure you get your calls in. There is a big backlog, so we're going to go to one of the Avengers. It's Thor. Hello, Thor.
Hey, how's it going, man? How are you guys?
Very well, mate. Talk to us, Thor, about Manchester United. Who do you want to see coming in the summer?
So, to begin with, I'm not going to jump on the Mourinho hate train. We know what we're getting. He's getting the team in order, and I think I'm going to rate Mourinho higher than the players' decision. Actually, I'm going to judge that by the Sevilla game. I went to that game and I saw Ashley Young and Lukaku, the only guys with real fire in the blood, that they were trying to rally the team. But the other guys were just terrified to make a mistake rather than to go for it. So I'm going to give 6 to the players, 7 to the manager.
Okay. You're the first person to rate Mourinho higher.
Yeah, he took a bit too long to go from 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3. 4-3-3 is obviously better for us with the current squad. But I mean, given his resources, given the squad, he had, and okay, you can criticize him for. Mkhitaryan buying him, selling him straight again, doesn't look good. But I think it's good. We know what Jose Mourinho does, and obviously we were battered by City this year in terms of points and goals and everything. But I think next season is going to be better. In terms of the midfield, I think Man City pulling out of buying Fred and taking Jorginho instead from Napoli, and consequently us getting Fred, is great news. Because I've watched Napoli quite closely this season. Jorginho, I think he's a fraud. He's had 2 excellent centre backs. He's had 2 excellent centre backs behind him. He has 2 excellent midfielders right, beside him. He's a great passer, but he can't carry the ball out of pressure. So even though Guardiola probably sees Jorginho as a Fernandinho replacement, it's not going to work out. Whereas Fred has much more flair. He can carry the ball up the pitch. He can take men on. But Jorginho is just like this passer sort of midfielder. So I think this mistake Guardiola is making by taking Jorginho instead of Fred is going to work massively in our favor. I think this lad from Lazio is going to be too expensive, and I'm willing to put my money on McTominay.
Put your money where McTominay. Oh, Thor, thank you very much for your call, mate. Very intelligent speaker there. A bit of an insight into the players that could be coming to Old Trafford. Imi's on the phone. Imi, you okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine, lads. How are you?
Oh, very well, very well. Talk to us then. Imi, what would you like to say to the Full-Time Devils? Like, we've got Webby and stuff here.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I'm a big fan of the lads, FTD, especially Webby,
Thank you.
very passionate fan. Soph as well. I don't see much of Soph, but he makes some valid points as well. So
thanks, mate.
He's too busy working. We have him on every week, but he's too busy working.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the atmosphere. I'm a really passionate fan. I take everything seriously. The atmosphere, singing, everything, and this season, last season, a few seasons just been quite bad, really, and if anything has to change next season, it's gonna have to be definitely the atmosphere. Honestly, it's just kind of depressing, the atmosphere is just so depressing,
Webby, John, Webby, what do you make?
I totally understand what he says. I've made the point throughout the years. I make it at the ground every week when I get told to sit down. But for me, if the football becomes more and more attacking, then the atmosphere will build. It's not so long ago we was on the edge of our seats. Ronaldo flying one way, Rooney in his prime, and Berber flicking everyone to death. If the football's there, the atmosphere will get better for me. I totally understand what the lad's saying. It is poor some games. It is very poor. And I look at it there. I remember years ago, players and teams come to Old Trafford, they were getting beat before the ball was kicked because the atmosphere was that good. But now it's gone the other way, and it's not just United, it's at other big clubs now, there's more corporate coming into the game. But if we get attacking football, I think the atmosphere will improve 100%.
I think the key indicator for the atmosphere this season was the Seville match. Before the ball was, like you're saying, Webby, before the ball is normally kicked, especially in the Champions League game, the opposition knows that they are going to be in for an absolute cauldron of noise, and the atmosphere is going to be popping. But there was never any inkling of that kind of atmosphere in probably the biggest game of the season up until that point. I think
you look at the things to the Brighton Cup game when they moved the fans, and I was absolutely jealous by sitting in the Stretford end. And actually looking at it, I think, I'd give anything to be in there now. So the club should look at that and do it all the time. The lads in there, fair play to them, they sung their hearts out. It sounded brilliant from where I was sat, And then the next game, it's gone back to
normal again. Yeah.
Emmy, thank you very much for your call. We're going to go to Matt now. Matt, you want to talk about players you want to see at Old Trafford next year?
Yeah. Obviously, I've been looking at with a few players with. Because I know we've been linked with quite a few players such as the Tottenham, I can't think of his name now, the Tottenham defender, bear with me a second. We've been linked with him, I did see it earlier. Toby, I can't say him, one of the Tottenham...
Struggling there, just call him
Toby Alderweireld.
What, which one? Vertonghen?
Yeah.
No, Alderweireld.
Oh, no.
Toby Alderweireld, yeah. Or whatever you want, technically, I think we've got to have a bit of a sort out in the summer with some of our players. You watched how Phil Jones was against Chelsea in the FA Cup last weekend. We all knew that was going to be obviously a penalty, obviously, regarding
Phil Jones. Phil Jones, I mean,
comical,
it was not good. Webby, when you saw that Phil Jones tackle, which obviously Matt is alluding to there, when he went down, it was something else.
It was poor. We were talking before. Is it 8 seasons? Smalling's been at the club now, and 7 Jones, or maybe the other way around. Shouldn't be near the club. Not good enough. Gareth Southgate's got it right with Smalling. You look at some of the players he's picked for the England team, and Smalling can't get in. He said, "You're not good enough, son." So we got. I feel a bit strange the Bailey situation. I think he's been treated a bit unfairly. You know what I mean? For me, what we've got at the club is the first named out to play, but he obviously didn't play him in the cup final, and he made some excuse about he's not going to the World Cup. So that for me, you're playing more. Obviously find him a decent partner, then I think we'll be all right. I think that's another thing, because I can't trust any of our defenders injury wise. They're like they made of glass. Phil Jones obviously last year played a lot more games than what I expected him, but are they good enough for Manchester United Football Club for what the partnership we've had over the years? I don't think they are, I'm afraid.
What about just Rojo and Bailly as a settled centre-back partnership?
He seemed to like them two, didn't he? And then obviously he got injured in the semi-final again. Last in the Europa semi-final. I like him at centre-back, not at full-back. At centre-back, he does
I think
a
he's
good
a lot
job.
better at centre-back, a
lot better.
We're going to go to Tom. Tom, speak to us about Jose Mourinho.
How you doing, buddy? You all right?
I'm very well, mate. It's Joe here, Webby and stuff.
Good stuff, boys. Yeah, I'm of the mindset that, even though I've heard a lot of people today talking that, we've had a decent season, we've improved in terms of points, but we are a million steps behind City and even actually Liverpool. The attacking prowess of both of those teams is so sublime this season. With such a defensive system, these players like Sanchez coming in from Arsenal, he was doing bits in Arsenal at the start of the season because he was under such an attacking system, and Pogba from a few seasons before in Juve. These players need more of an attacking style of play, and I personally think that if we were to stay with Mourinho for another season, we would be put back even further when he leaves, because he will undoubtedly leave at the end of next season, because he has a track record of leaving after about three years. I'm of that mindset of, I don't know, I think we need something new and quick now, and I'm kind of worried that it might be a bit too late in a few years coming.
I was just saying to Webby before we started the show, I think City are going to spend, and they're going to go out and spend big again, and United are going to spend obviously big, but we'll only just be catching up to them to the level that City were the season just gone, and City are just going to strengthen and get bigger. So in terms of the sort of spending, I think we need to increase it a lot. I can't see that happening, but also I think a lot of dead wood from the squad needs to go as well. A lot of signings. I think Webby's mentioned a couple there, Jones and Smalling. I think should be on the way out, but there's also other players who need to be moved on.
There's about another 4 or 5 who are not good enough for our club, and for me, I'm not going to say they're stealing a living. They try their best. I'm not saying they're not going to go out, but they should be nowhere near our football club, and that's no disrespect. They've got their level. And to play for Manchester United Football Club, you've got to be a lot better than them. And Jose, I'll know where he wants to go out. It's whether they want to go. Some of them on big contracts, they don't have to go. So it's hard, really. Because the previous managers give these contracts out, and the manager now has got to deal with it. So,
and I think that's another aspect that fans don't understand sometimes. They don't understand that these players maybe have these clauses in their contracts.
It was like Fellaini said that he should have made me sign that over here. Now he's holding my club to ransom, Marianne Fellaini.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Just disappear, son. If you don't want to stay, go away, see Milan. They'll realise. What your capabilities are. But he's trying to say, well, I'm worth this and I'm worth that. Well, if you're not, don't want to sign, then see you later.
Let's go to Mike in Nigeria. How are you, Mike?
Mike.
Wow.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hi, Mike.
Very well, mate. Mike, what did you want to say on the Full-Time Devils?
I just wanted to reflect on what, in my opinion, was a decent season, actually, all things considered. I think what made the season really complicated was, one, how far ahead City was in comparison to all the other teams. But they're not bagging the 100 points next season. Let's just be real with that. I don't see that happening, and I think it's going to be a much closer race next year. And this transfer window, I think, is actually the most important in recent years, because I'm pretty sure Mourinho knows exactly the players that he needs to have us competing at the highest level. We've been hearing stories about Fred and a couple of other players, and I think fullbacks are extremely important. The game against Chelsea just made it clear that we just don't have enough width. Now I can see why he was so adamant on Perisic. I remember at the start of the season when we kept hearing the rumors about Perisic, a lot of people were like, we don't need Perisic because we have Anthony Martial and Rashford. But when you kind of watch how we played this season, we didn't have any natural width, or at least players who could drive to the, cross the ball in from wide areas and deliver the type of service that someone like Lukaku needed. So I think this summer, with the way City played and with the way Liverpool has also played, I don't think there's going to be any confusion between the board and Mourinho about the players that he needs to be able to compete or sustain a high level of performance over the course of the year. So I'm not excited about how the season ended, but I still think that there's significant improvement from the last 4 or 5 years, and there's a lot for us to look forward to.
Yeah, you get it right there, Mike. There is significant improvement, Suf. You'd agree. You can only feel a slight bit of positive. I'm 50-50 how I feel about going into next season.
I look at the Perisic thing that I think the manager thought it was done and dusted. He's gone away on holiday, and for some reason it never happened. I think it he said he wanted 4, he got the 3 in.
Yeah.
And obviously the 4th one never happened. And I think, watching the kid, he's a great player, you know. He would have, I'm not saying he would have won the league with him, you know, but it would have made a hell of a lot of a difference to our attacking formation, you know. And will he go for him again? I don't know. I think that boat might have passed now with him, but you never know with who's coming in and out. It's going to be a crazy old window again.
Of course, yeah. I think the point that Mike just made then about the sort of progress, and I think Mourinho, he had these 3 years to do this sort of rebuilding the side. He's done bits of it, and along that side, you know, along part of that process was winning the FA, winning the Europa League, winning the EFL Cup, and getting to the FA Cup final. It'd have been nice if we'd have won that, but next season he's not going to be able to get away with saying, "Oh, we're in the League Cup final, we're in the FA Cup final." We need to be consistently challenging for a title. If we miss out on the title by a point or two, fair enough, we challenged. If we win it, even better. Champions League, a bit more of a sort of presence within that competition, within there as well. So I think, you know, progress will happen. Next season is going to be, I think, make or break for him.
Let's get through these final callers in about 4 minutes left that we've got. We've got Steve on the line. How are you, Steve? You okay?
Yeah, not bad, self.
I'm very well, thank you. So, Steve, let's talk Fred, Sandro. What is going to happen to Manchester United this summer?
Wouldn't mind Sandro, to be honest, because it'd be nice to have a left back and cross the ball without cutting in on his right foot all the time.
We've got Luke Shaw.
We've got Luke Shaw. Yeah, I'll be happy with Luke Shaw to stick around, though, to be fair. Like, I think he's underrated and Mourinho don't use him enough. And he always sticks with the oldies that he likes, doesn't he? Always the model professionals that he likes. And I think Alderweireld will be perfect with Bailly as well at centre-back. And I don't think we need a right-back, so I think we've got Timbo coming back, so he's had a good season at Crystal Palace.
Do you think he'll get into this squad or be on the bench, or what's going to happen with Timbo?
Well, I'd rather him be in the squad instead of Valencia, but it'd probably be Valencia on it starting and Timbo on the bench all the time.
Webby? Timbo?
Yeah, do you know what? He obviously he got into the team under Van Gaal, looked strong. And then he made the mistake at Wembley, didn't he, when he brought Lukaku down for the penalty, or whoever he brought down, can't remember who it was. And we never seen him again. You know, and he's put him out on loan. I spoke to a pal of mine who's a Palace fan. He said, when he's played, he's done great. He's not let us down. Now, let's bring him back, you know, because he's a good player. He's in the Dutch national squad. Let's give him a chance, you know what I mean? For me, he's a centre-half, or he can play defensive midfield. But like you're saying, Valencia's, I love Tony Valencia, but his game was going, and he needs that challenge because there's nobody challenging for right back, you know, to put him under pressure. So maybe Forsu Mensah, yeah, good shout.
Oh, who knows? Right, we're going to go to... Oh, hello. Every day is the same.
Hello.
Is that your name? Every day is the same?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay. What do you want to speak about then in the Full-Time Devils?
Well, I don't want to come across as a Yamona, but it's this illusion of this whole, when you hear United fans go, "Oh, we're the richest club in the world" and all the rest of it. Yeah, it's the underinvestment that we've had in the club. It's that's finally come back to bite us, and it goes back to kind of when City got the money and stuff. It's like I heard the stat that it was David Silva was like their most kind of played player or something. And you think about David Silva, nobody had even heard of him before Alex Ferguson started banging on about him year after year after year, when we put bids in for him, and then finally we put a bid in for him. City got the money, paid an extra $3 million, and won a title with him. And it's been going on since then. And the only time United have actually stumped up the cash is when we needed to, just to try and get back into the Champions League. So it comes back to all this, we're all buzzing about Fred now, and yeah, Fred is a good player and stuff. But we're only going to get Fred because he's 50 million. Whereas really, we should be going for Savage, because he's the one that's going to be the world beater.
Every day's the same.
It's like the whole Sanchez thing. Yeah, people go on about Sanchez, he's on this much money a week, and first of all, he's not on $500,000 a week. But I think the only reason we got Sanchez was because it saved us $90 million on the Griezmann transfer.
Interesting point there. You know what I mean? You bring up some...
Our season was messed up by by us not getting Perisic. So Lukaku's had 2 natural crosses in the season. He should be player of the season with 27 goals off 2 natural crosses. Perisic coming into that team gives Lukaku an extra 10 goals. Easy. And because of Woodward, trying to be like the top boy, holding Man United fans going, oh, Inter are out of order. How are Inter out of order when we're trying to hold their feet to the fire over functional fair play and penny pinching? And because of that, it messed up our everything. It messed up the vibe. It messed up everything. And yeah, we've got to hear Man United fans go, well, we're the richest club in the world. Well, it doesn't mean nothing if we're not going to be underinvested. This City season has not come out of nowhere. It's been started from David Silva. For Christ's sake, we sold him we didn't even put up the money for Carlos Tevez. Won a Champions League and then, oh no, we'll let City have him. Yeah, we're the richest club in the world.
Every day's the same. Good rant there, mate. And some great points. We've just got a couple minutes left, so we had to cut you off there. Make sure you give us a call back next week because there were some good points there. Thank you very much. Let's go to our final 2 callers before we have to call it a night. It's gone absolutely rapid. Daniel, you okay, mate?
Yep. Hello, everyone. Hey, Webby. How you doing?
Hello, sir. You okay, sir?
Daniel, what do you want to say today?
Yeah, it's all about Mourinho having achieved more than we're actually looking at. To be honest, with the players that have gotten into this club, everyone just needs to step up to the plate. Like I spoke about Martial all those times ago, the same thing for Luke Shaw if he still wants to be at the club. He needs to really take care of himself. Like, it's clear to everyone, like what happened with Wayne Rooney, at his best, the only reason he couldn't be playing right now to the level of Ronaldo is that whole culture in England. We know what we're talking about here. If Luke Shaw takes care of himself, there is no reason why this boy would be the best left back right now. But it's all a progression of that culture of behavior where we don't really just say what it is so we can move forward. Hopefully, Luke Shaw does something and stays at the club. If he doesn't, I'm behind Mourinho 100%. We should be happy that we have a manager that is so mentally stable. He is strong-minded. We know how the media wants to eat up United, and this man has been trying to do the most he can. Like, you just need to listen to some of the press conferences. The way he talks, you know that this is actually a human. It's not just about the media now. It's that he's grown from before. Okay, before we're talking about he doesn't play youth. Now he gives them the opportunity, like the Brighton game. Not that shot is bad, but that kind of thing now that makes him look like it's
Daniel, we are losing you a bit, Daniel. Sorry, but can I just say, I love Daniel. He comes on every time. And Daniel, we just had to lose you there a tiny bit. But we've only got a couple minutes left. So thank you very much, Daniel, for your call.
Where's he from, Daniel?
It doesn't say on here, but I can definitely find out. We've only got time for one more call, and we've got to keep it sweet. Samson, you okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. How you doing?
Very well, mate. You're the final caller on the Full-Time Devils today.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. I'm alright now. Can I speak now?
Yeah, of course. This is when you speak.
Okay. Now, in the first place, I'm trying to convince a lot of people to understand that there are managers and there are managers. Joseph Mourinho is a genius manager. He's a genius manager. You got to understand that. Of all managers, you can find out that in all countries he has been to, he has always won. Within 2-3 years, he has always been the title. But the problem, I think, when Joseph Mourinho came into Manchester United, there were a lot of dead woods in that defense, all over in the team. But he needs to get rid of them, and without getting rid of them, it's going to be a very big problem. So, but what I want everyone to understand that Jose is not happy because his defenders are not reliable. Once Jose Mourinho defenders are reliable, he plays an attacking play. He has a very powerful way of playing attacking football. But because Manchester United fans are already spoiled with this Alex Ferguson winning, they cannot take a defeat. They cannot understand what is called rebuilding a football team. Manchester United is in a rebuilding process of which Jose Mourinho is the right manager to do that job.
Samson, I mean, another amazing little rant there. The final words. Jose Mourinho is the right man to do that job. Soph, quickly for you, can you rate the players and the squad out of 10 for me, if you would?
I think realistically, the players, I'll give them, I think, a solid 7 out of 10. It's been nothing special, but it's not been too shabby either. I think, we finished second.
Yeah,
fair place to them.
Would you agree then, Webby? The Webbers, the squad. What would you give out of 10?
I'd give it 7, 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Right, well, gentlemen, this has been an interesting show. I think we got about 16 callers there, and we want to continue doing this. Every week there'll be different talking points, and every week we'll love you to just set an alarm on your phone. Thursday at 6 p.m, obviously English time, is the time where you can come on Full Time Devils and have your say. So watch all the videos all the week, build up your talking points, and come and speak to us, because we'll be here at 6 every week, and we'll love to chat to you.
Happy birthday, Eric the King.
Happy birthday, Eric Cantona as well.
Yes.
Should we do like a little wave goodbye? Thank you for watching. Bye. 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 Bye.